Alright, welcome to part 3. We finally remembered our safety gear.
Exactly 5 out of that 7-yard roll. Actually, let's make sure the scissors cut through 5 layers. This part is worth being a little pedantic, but I find felt tip markers work really well for this. So 7 yards got us 5 2-foot equilateral pentagons. We've got just a little bit, like maybe half a yard left on the tube, but we'll use that for something. And a lot of scrap, and I'm thinking maybe we can use the scrap for the pentagons, or for the hexagons rather. All 6 of the pentagons are done. So those are important. All 6 of the pentagons for the dome are done. Now we're moving on to the hexagons in the next week or so. Because I can only get fiberglass mat in 50-inch wide sections, that's not enough for the overlap around the pipe and to reach all the way across the hexagon. So what we're going to have to do is put a seam in it somewhere. And I'm thinking right down the middle might be the best place for the seam, because it'll add some rigidity. Because on these pentagons, they're just big enough that the fiberglass wants to flex a little bit, and that's fine because they flex very little, but they might flex far enough here to reach the limit of the resin. But I think with the seam running down them, it'll work a lot better, and it'll keep them from flexing far too much. Or we could just end up doing all the hexagons, 2 layers of the 1.5-ounce fiberglass thick. But we're gonna have to see later this week when I can get some more. But for now, these are done. This one here is the thickest one, because the resin I used was not the stuff I'm using right now for the rest of these. So it's the strongest panel we have, and that's going to be the top. And we're going to put some kind of vent / skylight in here to vent the warm air out of the dome. Still figuring that one out. As for like the rest of the windows, I think we're just going to buy some like RV or mobile home windows and cut holes in the hexagons and put them in there. One of these will get a hole for the stovepipe. I don't know which one yet. And some like stainless steel flashing so that the pipe for the wood stove goes out the top. But yeah, that's where we're at. Next we have 15 pentagons and 5, I don't know, what would you say? I guess they're half pentagons, or half hexagons. 15 hexagons and 5 half hexagons to do, with the seam down the middle, and hopefully, I think if I cut the material right, these won't take any more material than, it won't be an absurdly higher amount of material for these than it was for these, even though they're different in shape. This had a lot of waste material from the sides, and I think I can incorporate most of that into the hexagon. Oh, another thing I would show you if I could get back there, but the pentagon mold, after 6 pulls, 7 technically, because I have one that I completely fucked up. The pentagon mold, the paint started coming up. So later on today I'm going to add another coat of paint. Later today I'll add another coat of paint in here, just to kind of, it's pretty dirty right now, just to kind of clean it up, and you can see where it's already gone through just from moving it around so much. We're going to start that next week, and hopefully as soon as we get 5 of these done, we can put together the top section of the dome, and I'll show you how the attachment system is going to work. Because if you look at some of these, the edges are kind of rough, but because the way this design works, The edges don't have to be a sealed edge because the cover material will go over the top and provide both the water barrier and the attachment strength for each panel. That's all I have for you now. We'll see you later on Practically a Road.